Hello and welcome to Dad Got This. We're answering the tough questions like, what if I wasn't able to make it out to see you grilling for Monument Grills at the Wild Fork grand opening, and I want to know how to make those Korean short ribs you made? And what do you call a dog that meditates? That second one's easy. A werewolf. If you happen to be out at that Wild Fork grand opening where Dad was grilling for Monument and try some of these amazing Wild Fork Flanken Style Short Ribs and you want to know exactly how I made them, I'm going to tell you. Let's get to it. The first thing you need to do is go to Wild Fork and pick up some Flanken Style Short Ribs. These are a special style cut heavily used in Korean barbecue, and that is the style we are going to cook it in. To do that, we need to whip up a marinade. The first thing we need to do is dice up an onion. Nothing crazy, just a simple, more like a rough chop than a dice. Throw that in a bowl. We need a good amount of garlic, like 6 or 8 cloves, good sized ones. And we're just going to chop these guys up. And into the bowl we go. This is not a 100% authentic Korean marinade. I'm omitting some flavors and some things that are a little bit hard to get for everybody to make this a little bit more accessible for everybody. There's an Asian pear that is usually in this marinade. Very, very hard to get. So we're kind of swapping out some pineapple juice to mimic the Asian pear. So please don't beat me up if you are Korean and you're saying that's not how you make it. I'm trying to make a more accessible version for everybody. To our bowl, we need to add 1 cup of soy sauce from the slowest pouring bottle ever. I should just take that little cap off, but I've committed. 1 cup of soy. This is called mirin. It is a sweet rice wine. Very easy to get. Most local grocery stores will have it. We're going to do 1.5 cups of this. Pineapple nectar. Pineapple is a great way to break down and tenderize meats. So we are using the nectar. I just like these juices. You can use regular pineapple juice, whatever you can find. We're going to put in 2 cups of this. 1/4 cup of brown sugar. 1/4 cup of sesame seeds. 2 tablespoons of powdered ginger. You can use fresh grated ginger if you want. It'll be even better. But the powdered is pretty good in this scenario. 3 tablespoons of sesame oil. And 1 tablespoon of coarse ground black pepper or just regular black pepper. And just give it a good mix. Take your Wild Fork ribs. Let's get them out of the package. Now I will say, Wild Fork cuts their Flanken Style ribs super thick. These are half a beef dino rib, honestly. But in traditional Korean barbecue, these are much thinner sliced, but these are still gonna grill up fantastic. Now we're gonna take these, put them in a Ziploc bag with that, and let it sit in your fridge for at least 3 to 4 hours. Overnight would be preferable. We're gonna pour enough of this in to cover it. Make sure you're kind of getting a good amount of the onion and sesame that floats on the top. And you should have some marinade left. We're going to use that later as a dipping sauce and brushing while grilling. Get all your air out. This guy mix up nice. See you in a couple hours. I got a couple hours of marinade on these guys, and now it's time to set up our grill. We're going to set this grill up for 2-zone cooking. We're gonna set a couple burners up to high and a couple burners to low. That way we can move these over to the cold side after we get a nice crust and we can get them to our desired cooked internal temperature. That's whatever you want, medium, medium rare. I'm gonna shoot for like a medium rare-ish. About 130, 135 Fahrenheit or Celsius. We'll just wait a few minutes for that to come up to temperature, and we'll get to grilling.
When grilling, a great way to know if your food is ready to flip is how easily it moves when you try to grab it. That first one moved perfectly. See, there's a little stickage on that second one. It's not really moving. Can't really move that one. That one doesn't want to move. They're not ready. Wait a little bit, come back, and now that the crust is built up, you can flip them. That one flips pretty easy. And now this last one, still kind of sticky, but I'm going to show you what happens if you force it. So you can kind of scrape underneath there, get under there, and give it a little bit of extra oomph to move it. But what's going to happen is you're going to get like tearing on the meat where it was sticking. Just be patient, wait a little longer, and you won't get the tearing. You can force it and you can make it happen, but you see how there's meat left on the grill there? Not great.
This is your #1 friend when cooking or grilling. It is an instant read meat thermometer, and it is going to tell you exact temperatures of your meat instantly, hence the name. This is the only way to know if your food is done. The poke test, the jiggle test, the bend test, none of that works. Use this.
When using one of these instant read thermometers, stick it all the way in and then slowly back it out and watch the temperature change. The temperature is going to start going down when it reaches its lowest number and then starts going back up. That lowest number is the center, and that's the temperature that you're looking for.
They're cooked enough where you can use your marinade without worrying about it being raw meat going back into your marinade that we're going to use as a sauce later. This little guy, he is smaller than the other ones, so he's probably going to get done faster. At this point, I am almost happy with the crust and the color of these and getting ready to move them over to the cold side, close this down, so that way we can just kind of cook them the rest of the way to our final internal temp. On the edges. This cut has a lot of intramuscular fat, so you can cook it to like a medium well, and you're not gonna think that it's overdone or overcooked. But if you really like medium rare, you can cook it to medium rare. I wouldn't suggest going lower than medium rare because that doesn't give the fat any time to render, and you might get like almost a chewier, not as good texture. 128, 130, these are perfect. You're going to want to give these at least 5 to 10 minutes to rest, just so that they come down and the juices stay in there when you cut them. But these are going to be fantastic. Now, I took a little bit of the reserved marinade that never touched the food. This is the one that didn't touch the food, the one we set aside. This is going to be a nice little dipping sauce. If you want to kick the heat up a little bit, get yourself some gochujang Korean chili sauce, or get the Korean barbecue sauce from Wild Fork. That would also be an awesome sauce for this. It's just a little bit spicy. That's why I didn't cook it that way at the event. You'll see there's these big chunky bones right here. You want to cut in between the bones, like so, and then you want to cut it off the bone. These are fantastic little gnawing treats. You just bite on them, pull all the meat off there. Oh, so good. I think I hit my perfect temperature. Medium rare, medium. The other thing you're going to notice, there's a grain to this meat. See how the meat is running in this direction? If we slice little chunks like that, and you have your meat, you can see the grain running that way. See how I can just pull that meat apart? Now if I slice a chunk like that, see how I can't see the grains? It's not as easy to pull apart. But either way, you are going to get a fantastic bite of meat. There we go. We'll do it without the dipping sauce, just the beef. Oh, one of my favorite cuts in the world. So beefy, so flavorful, so tender. Let's try it with a little bit of the dipping sauce. Oh yeah. Adds a sweetness to it. Love it. We'll hit one with a little bit of Korean chili paste, a little dipping sauce. That's heaven. Absolute heaven. And that's how I cooked the Korean short ribs that I served over at the Wild Fork grand opening for Monument Grills. I'm gonna have links down to everything in the description below. The printable recipe, the grill, the meats you can buy, everything, the whole shebang in the description below. This isn't the only thing I cooked at Wild Fork. I cooked some chicken and I cooked a nice big thick pork chop. So if you wanna see how to cook those, that's also down in the description. If you are enjoying this content, please do the likey subscribe stuff. YouTube loves it when you leave a like. I love it when you leave a comment. I answer just about every comment in my comment section. If you'd really like to support this channel, consider becoming a member. Members get behind the scenes updates, they get early access to videos, shout outs in videos, producer credits at the end of videos, all kinds of fun stuff. I really appreciate each and every one of you who is a member. But if you can't be a member, just subscribing does a lot for the channel and I really appreciate it. I guess that only leaves one question to answer. Dad may tell horrible dad jokes, cook amazing food that he serves at live events. But one thing Dad will never do is an outro. So that's it. Bye.
This episode of Dad Got This was brought to you by our producers. Thank you very much.